Hello, hello. All right. Welcome to Energy Alchemy with Jen. Let's see if we can change this here. Uh, Sorry guys, I'm still getting situated here. Okay. For some reason I am only able to see the screen here. So give me just a minute to get situated and we will begin. And I'm assuming we are streaming live. All right. Okay. I go back. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get an assistant to help me with this streaming situation so we're not relying on me all the time to be doing all the background work. Okay. Welcome to Energy Alchemy with Jen. We are gathering every Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time to talk about what's happening in the energies, provide an intuitive reading to support you energetically with whatever you're needing support with. And we're just going to flow and see what happens. I am Jen Cunnings, and we will be streaming on YouTube. You can join me on the Zoom, and I will also be streaming on my Facebook page, which hopefully is happening. So until I get some support, you guys have to rely on me for the technology, which may not be the most advantageous thing. So, how's everybody doing with the energies? It's been quite the roller coaster and intensity. Today is April 4th, and it's like the astrological new year, right? We have the new moon in Aries, the sun is in Aries, and there's just a tremendous amount of shifting happening. We're really stepping into a new beginning. We're clearing a lot of density, and there's an opportunity to let go of density, of baggage, of old paradigms of the way we've done things, and to really create new for ourselves. So you can consider today like the new year, where you get to be a really powerful creator of what you want to move into. And when I feel into the energy, I feel like there's tremendous capacity for us to shift what we've been wanting to shift. And this isn't like a new conversation. We've been clearing and letting go and changing what isn't working for us. And there's been this consistent realignment with what is true for us. I talked about this a couple weeks ago on a live, or maybe a week ago. Time, speaking of, time has been very non-linear, right? We're moving out of a linear time construct. So the themes that seem to be really prevalent is this opening that allows us to clear really deep stuff, like deeper than we've ever gone before, and tremendous capacity to create like momentum of pure divine expression. And it's kind of a roller coaster. Like, can you guys relate to how many ups and downs that we've been going through? I don't know about you, but it's been super intense. I swear, like my poor husband, he's not in the kind of energetic woo woo world we sometimes call it. And I try to explain to him like these are our conversations. I'm like, honey, I know it seems like I might be depressed one day and then really high and happy the next day. And I said, but I'm clearing like tons of generational like trauma from my DNA. And I'm doing this for our family and the generations to come and for the planet. So we can all be lighter and be able to receive like the truer, most divine aspects of ourselves. And, he gets it. He really does. But on the days that where I'm like, I just need to like go lay down because I'm processing a ton right now. I'm sure sometimes he's like, what have I gotten myself into? Fortunately, we've been together for 15 years or so, and he's been with me on this journey. So, yesterday, when I was really feeling into the energy, I was working with my colleague who I co facilitate sacred retreats. Her name's Darlene Owen. Hi, Darlene. And we get called to do just a communion of energy together where we go into meditation together and we see what needs to happen for ourselves. And then often that leads to the collective. Our experience yesterday was one of the most powerful. Like we were having all these awarenesses of things changing at that cellular DNA level, codes of energy coming in from above, rainbows, seeing rainbows. There was so much I can't even recall it all right now. But essentially, what it felt like is there was this rewrite happening, like in our bodies, where once we were clearing the density, we started to visualize and see without intention. This was just us receiving just all this sacred geometry, all this encoding of new. And it took us both, after we completed this together, and it went on for quite a while. It was like it took us a couple hours. It almost took me the whole rest of the day to kind of get grounded again, because the energy, the frequency felt so high, like we were almost shaking. We were shaking afterwards. And so I'm sharing this so, those of you who are listening, who are understanding this, you're a sensitive, you're an empath, you are a light worker, you are on your spiritual journey. And so we are navigating through a lot of intensity. And so I just want to express this because it is so important for us to be so compassionate and so kind to ourselves right now, to reach out for support, to listen to our bodies when our bodies need to go down, but our mind wants to get this and this and this done. Sometimes that can be, a little bit of a conflict. Like I had to go lay on my couch and I think I even fell asleep. And then after that, it was like, it was like, I don't even know how to describe it. Almost like there was so much happening internally. It was wearing me out. And then today I can feel much more expansive. I have a lot more energy. I feel a lot freer. I feel a lot lighter. And then who knows what tomorrow will bring. Okay. So just to be, again, honoring ourselves, honoring our bodies, allowing us to flow through these intense changes, and knowing that on this accelerated path, there is not one person who's not affected, right? And it can bring up emotions. It can bring up, triggers, people triggering us more than usual. So again, the key is to honor ourselves and to be in a heightened state of awareness of, okay, this is what's going on for me right now, and I'm getting triggered, and can I bring in some love and some compassion and some kindness and whatever it is needed. We are here to embody and bring more love into the world. We are here to awaken love within ourselves in ways we have never actually experienced before in a body. Yesterday I was guided to pull a card before a meditation. Let's see if it pops in. Yeah, it's right here. So I feel like I want to read this because it really hit home. And this is it's the Mother Mary Oracle Guidebook by Alana Fairchild. Mother Mary came to me when I was in Mount Shasta very vividly, and then I happened to find this deck like the next day and really felt called to take it home with me. And it's very powerful. All of her decks are. And so I want to read this to you guys about this card that I chose. Here's the card. It says, Our Lady of Love. And you can see she's got the Sacred Heart. She's got the doves, all her beautiful adornments. Okay, so we're awakening our sacred hearts. We're reawakening to the love that we are. And Let me go ahead and find this passage that I want to share with you. One moment, please. Oh, here it is. Love calls you when it's time, even if you are not sure that you are ready for it. You are being called into love in a deeper, fuller, and more mysterious way than ever before. So this is like being called back home to the love that we are, but we've been so disconnected from it for so long that we don't even really know what that is. And so it's required for us to do the healing work so that we can align, receive, and awaken the true love that we are. Okay. So I'm going to give a plug real quick because I have a 7-week self-love alchemy class starting Monday, which is April 4th. And this is what we're going to do. We are going to clear density. We're going to go at the deepest levels to let go of trauma, trapped emotions. We'll be doing inner child work. We'll be doing connecting more to our sacred heart, our divinity, and the love that we are. And in this 7 weeks, we'll be meeting weekly live. So you get live support. I'm throwing in a bonus session with me. There'll be 7 weeks of light language meditations, tracks, meditation tracks, and content on an online course module, in addition to the one-on-one weekly connections we're going to have. I feel so auspiciously aligned with the launch of this class on Monday because I wasn't realizing that today is our astrological new year. And I was listening to an astrologer, numerologist, Tanya Gabrielle. I'll post it in the comments on my Facebook page, who does this beautiful explanation of where the numerology of today, in addition to the new moon and the sun in Aries, is all about the ones. And you may know that ones represent new beginnings, ones represent creation, right? So I was like, oh my gosh. And then she goes on to say how this is our time to return to love. And anything that's not love is an illusion, right? It's the illusion of our human experience because our truest nature is love. And can we bring that love more so into our physical experience, which ripples out and changes the world? So if you guys have been paying attention to me, like this has been like my self-love journey, my journey of love. I'm on this journey and I'm here to support others on their journey. So that starts Monday. I'll put that in the link if anyone's interested. But again, if you just want to come hang out with me, we'll be meeting every Friday, 12 p.m. Central Time, through this medium. And I'm still, this is my second time doing this because the platform I was on before, like, just disappeared. The facilitator just disappeared. So I'm still working out all the details of how this will show up for you guys. I might make some tweaks once I get some technological support, but I wanted to continue to show up for you because in addition to the conversation we're having right now and whatever I'll be sharing with you, I'm also here to offer my services, whether that's to provide you with, an intuitive guidance, to do some light language, to do some energy healing and whatever is needed. So I'm here on the Zoom and I've got a couple folks on with me, and then I can see my Facebook page here. Let's see. And so I can hopefully see the comments. So let me get this set up. And if you guys want to hop on to, oh, it doesn't look like it's streaming on YouTube. Okay, well, that's interesting. But it does look like it's streaming on Facebook. So this is how this is gonna go until I get my bearings. I'm gonna start with who's on Zoom and answer questions and tune into the energy. And then I will go to my Facebook and start there. So let me go ahead and see if I can get that situated. And for those of you who are on the Zoom right now, I see Trisha, Agnes, you guys are welcome to put any comments in the chat if you want, if there's anything that you would like some specific guidance about, or maybe you would like some information or expansion on what we just talked about in the what I was just sharing. And I don't know, I cannot multitask. It was up here when I started and now it's gone. Oh, here we go. No, it's gone again. It's so bizarre. All right, guys. Hey, Trisha, welcome. Let me just see if I can ensure. Okay, so I am live on my. Oh, there we go. It's actually live. Okay, Kate says yes, clearing deeply. Okay, thank you, Kate, and thank you for putting the comment because apparently people were not seeing my comments last, or I wasn't seeing their comments and they never ended up showing up. So I don't, again, y'all be patient with me as I navigate through these changes. So, Trisha, I just wanted to let you know that you are on live, and if you don't want to be on camera, that's fine, but you are right now. So just an FYI, if you make sure that you know that this is being streamed. Okay. And I can see the comments um on the but it's so interesting, y'all. For some reason, it only shows me the comments to okay, hang on. I am going to work this, y'all. Yeah, for some reason I can only see the current comments. So, okay. Trisha, let's start with you and then we'll just go from there and I'll see if I can navigate through my technical stuff. So you are muted right now, and if you want to just unmute and we'll see what we can do to support you today.
There we go. Okay.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, I'm trying to develop my mediumship abilities. And
Okay.
I'm wondering if there's anything in particular that I need to do more of, or what exactly. I am thinking about coming Sunday. I figure, there's always got to be something. I'm fascinated with the light languages. It was introduced by Britt Witt, introduced to the languages. And I've also been working with Kristen Swin.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. And people overseas, like teachers overseas. So
wonderful. Hi, Michael. So here's what I would suggest, and then I'm going to tune into you specifically. For any kind of spiritual awakening, mediumship, intuitive, we got to go inside. Okay, so I'm just kind of speaking generally, and I'm sure this isn't a news flash to you because we all have intuitive gifts, and it's our job to uncover them, like opening up gifts, opening up and awakening to what is already inside. Now, I'll also say that sometimes we have created like blocks, or sometimes we might have gifts in ways that we're not aware of because we want it to look a certain way. So what I mean by that is, like, when I first started my spiritual journey, I was in all these classes. This is like back in the 90s, and all the people in the classes were really clairvoyant. Like they could see, they had all sorts of visuals, all sorts of colors or stories that would play out. I saw none of it, right? And so I was always like judging myself. And it wasn't till further along in my journey I realized, oh, like my gifts are different. Like my gifts are more about claircognizance and clairsentience, meaning clairsentience is I really feel the energy in my body. Claircognizance is where I just have a knowing. And I don't know where it comes from. Mm-hmm. I do see a little bit, but not very much. So I'm only sharing that because it wasn't until I began to accept that those were like the stronger gifts that some of the other ones came in. And I recognized also that there was judgment, judgment in comparison, that I didn't have more of the visual gifts that some of the others do. So I'm just sharing that because even now, like all these years later, I would say my intuition has gone up significantly, but I like mediumship and clairvoyance are still, not as strong. So I just share that because I felt guided. But let me go ahead and just tune into you specifically. and see if there's anything that needs attention to either clear or help to accentuate this for you. I actually feel like you feel like you're strong in the clairvoyance already. Are you more, would you say that's a strength for you?
Um, Internally, it is. I don't
Mhm.
see your grandfather sitting there in the chair, which I would like to do, but I'm not there. But I have the stories play out in my head, like you were talking about,
Okay.
and we'll
So,
have the conversations.
okay. So that's where I would allow yourself to strengthen what is already presenting to you
Okay.
and honor the way in which you are receiving the information. Because here's the other thing that happens is that it's our own doubt, it's our own judgment about how it can be that can negate what's already coming through. So it's like anything, when we fuel it with gratitude, when we fuel it with acknowledgement, I also recommend to like get a journal and write down what you know, or write down what you receive, because
Mhm.
then there's the movement of the energy into like paper, and it creates more a tangibility to it, and then you
Yes.
build up, right? Because you're acknowledging it, you're honoring it, you're
Mhm.
having gratitude for it, and then you're actualizing it into tangibility. And I
Okay.
think at the end of the day, it's practice, because how you are doing this is going to be different than how anyone else does it.
Mhm.
And so again, going inside, giving yourself dedicated time every day to
Mhm.
just tune in, ask to communicate, and I'm sure it sounds like you already have like a template in which to do that. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So I think for you, it's less about your ability and more about your trust.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see if we can help to align you with receiving more of yourself in that way. So there's a little bit of congestion energetically in the heart and the throat, because again, it feels like your gifts are already there, and it's just clearing the path so that you can it's really about you receiving yourself.
Probably. Yeah.
So let me just tune in energetically and see if we can just clear some of that and at least begin the process for you to receive more of you. There's also a little bit of fear as I'm tuning in a little deeper. I don't know if that's, my left brain kind of goes to, is that fear of actually communicating this with people who don't understand or you know, aren't going to, maybe they'll judge me or think it's something, woo woo or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Um, so of course, if we're in any kind of fear of how people will receive us, then we are unable to fully receive ourselves,
Mhm.
right? So there's a couple things I think happening. So that's just the energy clearing already. So what we're going to do is just ask to kind of loosen some of the blocks and barriers, loosen the fear, loosen the resistance to receiving yourself, and opening the throat to be that truest expression of you, because these are your gifts, right? And they're the gifts that are you're here to express, you're here to share. And we've been shut down for a long time, beyond this lifetime. So we have a lot of the energy that holds us back from being visible, from being fully expressive. So let's just clear this. And for anyone else who's listening right now, because this is all of us, right? Where we still kind of adjust ourselves, compromise how we show up, where we, hide, where it's easier to just be in a space of, safety. So everybody who's listening now or later can receive this. E tolo kore e tana mere shokoro sa atole kitana koro kietana mare shikiri kia sokoro kia. So again, a lot in the throat, opening up the throat to feel freer to express, opening up the heart to know that you are loved and your true pure expression. E koro shokoro shamo koro shete da bara shokoro sanara koro kutana mara e kete de koro kusa. E kanaria shokoro kusa tara bara e nana bara shokoro sanari ki. E todo soto no mara sakia soto no mara shokoro sane ikira koro kia. And so here in the heart, the words that I sense is I'm willing to receive all that I am, and I'm willing to love and accept all that I am. And what I feel for you specifically, Trisha, is you have somebody not not like a mediumship thing, because I don't tend to go there, but you have somebody's energy behind you that you're carrying, perhaps a mother or a father of, their perceptions of this. And so anybody's your judgments of this are really not yours. Like you're operating from somebody else's ideas, thoughts, and beliefs. So whoever that is, and if anyone comes into mind, we're just going to ask to clear their thoughts and projections and implants out of your field and off your back. Itole katoro shakoro sanamereshi kirebaro shakoro sanara ketoro oraketa namereshi itoro barashi konomaro soto de barashi keko orakia koro sokuru kosakia kia. We can ask Archangel Michael to support this if this resonates with you to receive. Trisha, just anybody who's attached to your energy, anywhere you've carried around somebody else's ideas, anybody else's belief systems, where we're asking to clear everything that's not in alignment with your truth, your higher self, divine truth. So let's call in your higher self now to fill up your heart and fill up your body and expand out. So that anybody else, it's like a skin or like a clothing you've put on, and your own divine self can kind of shed those layers, shed those skins. Kind of reminds me, like my kid plays video games and they put on these different skins, different costumes. So it's like we're taking off what's not you. How's that feeling so far? What are your thoughts?
Feels light.
So this is really about you opening your heart to more of who you are, not who you think you should be, not who other people think you should be, not who, the past, your past self. This is you giving yourself full permission to be all that you are in the truest, boldest, authentic way. Okay. Whew. And I feel like there's also a lot of creation capacity that's wanting to come through for you. And that also is going to assist in your development, because that's when we really get to tune in to our expression in a way that's like really fulfilling. And it doesn't have to be, nobody is hearing us. Like it doesn't even have to be voiced. So, whether that's through music or art or whatever it is that floats your creative boat and gets those juices flowing. Like it's funny how we use these terms, like getting the creative juices flowing, that like gets our energy flowing, right? Our juicy energy flows. That opens up that conduit of being able to connect into those higher frequency realms. Which also, in closing, I would say my final piece of advice for you is, really listening to what your body is needing, whether it's nature, whether it's different kinds of food, whatever is needed by you, to raise the frequency that helps you feel really lighter and brighter, right? It's like here we are in spring. So spring affords us this beautiful opportunity to look within, look in our environment, where are we stuffing stuff in our closets or our drawers? Where are we stuffing things in our bodies? and clearing to heighten, lighten, and brighten our energy. And that helps us connect as well.
Okay. That sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
right.
Hmm. Any questions? Any?
No, I think
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah, and you can go back and listen to the recording and maybe take some notes just to see what comes through, or listen to the light language again, and then we can, um, keep going deeper with the receiving of the self.
Yes.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on. It was
Oh, thank
wonderful
you.
to meet you.
I'm on day 7 of your 7 days.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so I'm working through it.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm so glad to hear it. It was so good to connect and meet somebody in the community I hadn't
Yes,
met before.
yes, yes. So we'll
Awesome.
see you Sunday.
Okay, we'll see you Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm doing for those of you in the Dallas, Texas, Richardson, North Texas area. I've got a workshop from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Yoga Chiquitza in Richardson, where we're going to be doing an energetic spring cleaning. It's going to be a lot of just energy work, essentially, with some meditations and things like that, just to get ourselves really cleaned out. We'll be talking more about self-love and just having that experience where we can set ourselves up, right, for, again, new moon, right, new astrological year. We can move into creation, and so we're just looking to clear some of the density, and so that's what we're going to do on Sunday. So I think next up is Agnes. Agnes, would you like? Let me go to my chat here. Was there anything you would like, Miss Agnes? Oh, there she is. And
Hello.
hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. I just want to understand. I think everything you took from, I mean, you said to Trish applies to me in a way. In the beginning, I'm just starting out. So I want to understand how to identify my strength, my internal strength, what my gifts are.
Okay.
Um, I feel a lot of stuff, and sometimes I intuitively think a lot of stuff, but I don't know how to separate that from just my thinking or my spirit, like telling me something. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And again, this is a general, and before I kind of tune in directly to you, here's a real simple thing to just be aware of. If there is a judgment, if there's a fear, if there's a comparison, if there's any kind of blame or wrongness, that's not your intuition,
Okay.
right? So our intuition is really subtle.
Mm-hmm.
It's non-judgmental. It's it's like when it's aligned, there's non-attachment. So that's just a kind of like a little benchmark that you can pay attention to, where
Okay.
if there's an I should be doing or any kind of like pushing energy, that's usually our ego mind.
Okay.
So that's just
That makes sense.
it's just helpful to sometimes, like, okay, yeah, and I still have to check myself, right? Like, is this my truth or is this my mind just telling me something?
Yeah.
um the other piece of advice, similar to Trisha, is to keep an open curiosity and question about whatever it is you're, like, let's say you get a hit about something and you don't know, like, is this intuitive or is this my head? Just be curious and open, where you're not creating like a conclusion. You're not creating like, oh, well, this is definite and finite now. So there's this opportunity to just say, okay, well, what else do I need to know? And another thing I do around that is show me a sign.
Mm,
Like, hey, universe, show me
yeah.
what I need to know. And then to be patient, because
Mm,
usually it doesn't come right away. And to be really open and aware, because oftentimes our intuition and these external signs can be very subtle. Like yesterday, I was when in the beginning of the call I mentioned, with Darlene and I were doing this energy work, and I kept hearing and seeing the alpha and the omega, right? The end
mm,
and the beginning, like within, without, like the all. And I didn't really have a mental comprehension of it, and I still don't, minus what I just communicated. but I felt like that energy was important. And so I was kind of like, oh, like maybe I need to go like research that or whatever. Like, what was that? And then later that day, my husband and I were grabbing something to eat, and there was a gentleman sitting in front of me, and he was facing away, and his t-shirt said Alpha and Omega. Because the universe is always reflecting
Mhm.
back.
Yep.
And sometimes, we have our blinders on.
Yep.
And one time I was telling my kiddo about signs and synchronicities and stuff like that, and giving him some examples, and he says, Mom, they're everywhere all the time.
Mm.
I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. He was young before
Yeah.
he was like 5, and I
Yep.
was like, oh, you're right. Like they're there always. So our mind wants to make conclusions and definitions, and it wants like answers, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Mind wants answers. It wants clarity. It wants, it wants to know.
Yep.
But the intuition is like opening up guidance in the next steps, right? We may not have the final answer,
Hmm.
but the intuition leads us down the path. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
Touch
And
my
it's often so difficult because we live in the world of rules, right? And
yeah,
limitations. And so how do we clear ourselves off of that, to
right.
kind of make the way to just be?
Right. So awesome question. And that is where we have to develop a deeper relationship with ourselves and our awareness. So
Mhm.
when your mind goes to XYZ because it wants those rules, it likes the structure, it feels comfortable in those
Mhm.
zones, the linear time, like there's a lot of programming and a lot of conditioning that we have to dismantle,
Mhm.
right? So it's like being aware when we go to default. When do I go to default of protecting myself or
Mhm.
blaming somebody else or feeling like I really need to have that answer?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, here I am. I'm in my ego. I'm in, the lower like 3D.
Mhm.
So can I go and meditate and commune with my heart
Mhm.
and send those aspects of me and maybe have a little chat with yourself like, hey,
Mhm.
it's okay that we don't have the answer right now,
Mhm.
right? It's okay that we are, operating from this default function of comfortability or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And it's a process, right? This journey of awakening is a process where we're, just continuing kind of like with Trisha, like with the other people, like we're continuing to strip away and let ourselves free ourselves from the confinements of
Yep.
which we've existed from, right? I mean, it'd be nice to just go in and say, I'm done with the 3D. I'm in the, higher dimensional realms at all times. But we've been so conditioned for so long, and it is part of the human experience, right? Like we do physically live in a physical body, which we perceive as like my body's separate from you, but we
Yep.
know in the subtle, we're all one.
Yep.
And so we're navigating through this human experience while also remembering like we're infinite and whole. And so just through awareness and through the practice of communing within self and with the practice of like, okay, that's not true. Like whatever my brain or my ego is telling me actually isn't true. There's
Mhm.
nothing so like fear is a big one, right? Because that's so
Yes.
pervasive right now.
Yeah.
Fear is not true,
Mhm.
right? Love is true.
Mhm.
And so, can I look within myself and identify with my body the places that are heavy? So, what
Yeah.
I love to do, like to answer your question, what I love to do is when I have an awareness of a thought, a belief, a program, a density, an old belief system, whatever it is, um, or emotion, fear, I'll sit with my body and because I'm very feeling in my body
Mhm.
and ask, okay, where am I holding this part of me that feels heavy, or what part of me needs love?
Mm.
And the more we start to commune with that, then we return back to that natural state. The other thing is nature. Like if I find myself in a lot of, mental chit chat, fear, whatever, like this week, I woke up and had kind of like I was feeling like emotionally low, but I had no external reason. I drove my butt to the nature preserve and sat my butt on the ground next to a tree by a river. And I sat there until I felt myself like return to that home state,
Hmm.
because nature is going to offer us that.
Yep.
So, okay. Well, I hope those, I kind of went on. Those are
No, it
wonderful. I mean, it's
helps.
such helpful questions, such wonderful questions. But let me see. Can you tell me your original question? So, and maybe it's changed now. So if
No,
you have a,
it's just, finding your spiritual strength, right? If it's intuition, then how do I know that is it for sure? And I know part of it is trusting and
yeah,
just doing the daily work. I haven't done any of that, but I just know that, like you, when you open the talk, you talk about how things have changed. Things have changed. The world has changed. There's so much going on, and I just want to be balanced and find my place,
yeah,
and that's it.
right. And so let me tune in specifically to you, but what I
Mhm.
will also say to that for everybody, is it's it requires us to get off the default train.
Mhm.
And to get off the default train, we have to do things different. So we're so externally focused.
Yep.
I actually had this dream, and I woke up with the term hungry ghosts. Like
Mhm.
we're always seeking external stuff, right?
Mhm.
Shopping, cars, homes, food, right? Addictions. Like we're always seeking to fill outside of ourselves.
Mhm.
And so that's the default, and that's societal,
Mhm.
pervasively our culture, right? We seek outside of ourselves.
Right.
So coming back to your question is, that's if our default, and it's really predominant in the collective society,
Mhm.
then I have to intentionally do something that is outside of that default,
Mhm.
and that requires to go within. So step one, even I think meditation is so simple and so hard, right?
Mhm.
So maybe it starts off with a walk in nature, not on your phone, not listening to music, just I could never pronounce his name, the Buddhist who just passed, taught it. I'm going to butcher it, I'm not even going to say it, but just a walking meditation.
Mhm.
Or like if you can sit 15 minutes of just breathing and being with yourself.
Okay.
And the reason meditation is so simple yet so hard is because we're not conditioned to be with ourselves. We're conditioned to seek outside.
Mhm.
So we have to keep bringing it back, right? Keep bringing it back, keep bringing it back. And it requires some discipline. I
Yeah.
hate that word, but that's what wanted to come through. Let's commitment to the journey of me.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for you? Right. But it's we've got to go inside.
Mhm.
And however, the easiest path of least resistance to begin that inward journey is what I would recommend.
Mm.
It could be dancing,
Okay.
right? It could be letting your body move. But I do find in my personal experience, and it might be different for you, the greatest, let's see, what maybe that's not the best word. The most powerful experiences I've had in terms of like my meditation are when there's no music, it's just me in the stillness of me.
Mm. That makes sense.
But that, you know, start start with the steps that are going to get you there. Okay,
Okay.
so let me go ahead and tune in for you and see if
Okay.
there's anything specific that is, because that was kind of for everybody. Yeah, and so for you, I just go straight to the heart. Again, I'm a feeler, and so I'm not quite sure. There's some trust stuff here, kind of like what we had with Trisha earlier. So I'm just going to start clearing some of the heart and see if there's any other information that wants to come through, but that's just immediately where I'm being drawn to go. And everybody who's listening, like if there's anything that you'd like to clear in your heart, you can receive this too. This is for all. Really what this is actually is the place that we're clearing the places of separation we've built within ourselves. Kodaya shokodai asaki shikoro shemaro shokoro sekito nya aso lakdodea kora shaokra shemere shikito osokor itata korokuna. Etale kotoro bara shikanamoro sokoto no makiato no makoro sokoroshi. E koro shakara sonaria de la kono koroku marashakiораshi. I feel like I'm gonna need a bowl. One moment. It's not the one I want. Hang on, guys. Sorry. Sometimes the bowls just beckon to be played. All right. So we're just going to let this, hopefully that doesn't get distorted in the sound. How we doing?
Oh, that's really good. Like the sound took my stress away.
I feel like your ancestors are wanting to connect with you as well. And it felt like there's this reverence of honoring you and inviting you to say, hey, like we're here. And receiving from them, and they are here to support you, and it feels very powerful. So it's like the gifts that are already awakening, they will help with. Okay. So call on your team, like however that is, like guides, angels, your tribe, yeah. Your ancestors. It felt the ancestors felt stronger than other. But there is a whole big thing, and it's like the immediate need is the healing in the heart, right, and the healing of love within yourself. And as that is healing, as that is returning to wholeness, like the gifts will naturally awaken even more.
Okay, thank you. It's really good. Thank you.
You're so welcome. It was wonderful to connect with you.
Thank you. I'll probably be there on Sunday. It's Sunday, right?
Are you in the Dallas area?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
I'll be there.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hello, Michael and friend. Did y'all want some support?
Okay, can you hear us? Okay, this is my sister Maya over here.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Good.
So I guess you can start first.
I guess I have a clairvoyant gift, so I hear a lot, but sometimes when it's
Audience.
yeah, so when it's inconvenient for me, I tune it out on purpose because it comes when I'm trying to sleep. So I tune it out. So sometimes I block it a little bit, but I know that it's there for a reason. Um, but I guess I'm just a little bit afraid of it getting stronger and stronger because I'm starting to see things more too, as well with hearing.
Yeah.
So there's also that a little bit, but I know it's not a bad thing, you know. Um, and also, I guess that's it, you know. I just never really met anybody that has clairvoyance or hears anything, so I'm that's me.
Well, I can invite you to a whole truckload of people as well as your brother. Side note. But um, let me ask you this: like, what's the fear?
um, I guess the fear comes from not seeing what I'm hearing, if
Okay,
that makes sense.
tell me
And
more.
a lot of times those types of things come in more when it's nighttime and it's dark because it has more room to come through.
Right.
Um, you know, because it's source energy. Source energy is dark, you know, or like, you know, like not in an evil way, but you know, so a little bit of that. So yeah, that's all I have to.
Well, let me start off by saying this. No matter how strong and open and powerful our gifts become, you
Mhm,
are the sovereign, empowered owner of your body and your domain.
mhm,
So you get to choose what you connect with, what you experience. So, like in the nighttime and it's time for bed, right? You claim, you set your boundaries, you create the energy in your room or your home so that it's in the vibration that you set. And
mhm,
I find it's really helpful to state your intentions out loud. So getting
mhm,
into a centered place within yourself and vocalizing what your request is. So for instance, like I'm going to bed now and the space that I'm in is only for me. So any and all energies, entities, consciousness that is not me is not allowed in my room.
mhm,
So it's being the you're not the victim of your gifts, right?
mhm,
You are the director. You are the
mhm,
architect, right? So that's first and foremost is really owning your power in that regard. Then when you decide you can tune in a space where you've set for yourself. So,
mhm,
and this might require, and your brother probably has some support for you here, but, really having some things that you can reach for where you are um, feeling safe and feeling aligned with what you want to communicate with.
mhm.
Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, it does. It does
Mm-hmm.
make sense.
It's very
I just never thought about it that way. Um, I am very educated on spirituality and like stating your intentions and stuff. I just push it away, not in a bad way, but I always keep it in the background, not paying enough attention to it. But I guess lacking in that area doesn't help either, you know?
so it's really really common, right? Because it's subtle, so it's not in this world, right? And then I also believe we tend to carry trauma from when we actualize these gifts in other lifetimes and we were put to death for it or whatever the situation was. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of unconscious fears that are held in our bodies and our um, subconscious that also contribute to us wanting to keep it because
Hmm.
keep it to the side, keep it away. So
Hmm.
the other thing is that the veils are getting thinner, like you
Yeah.
mentioned, right? And
Right.
so it's like we're having to, what's the word? Like, kind of reminds me of like going to a foreign land. You don't do the things you have to do things different in a foreign land than when you're at home, right? Like
Right.
people do things differently. The food is
Hmm.
different. And so you have it takes time to acclimate living in a, like it could be a totally huge new environment. All right. Like let's say you go live in a tribal jungle, right? You're gonna be a whole different kind of, yeah, a whole different kind of interaction than, here in the States with all the technology than if you go and live in a tribal.
Right.
That's just an analogy. So we're having to remember, relearn how to acclimate, how to live, how to interact with this world when these veils are becoming thinner and we're able to perceive beyond just this, physical reality. So
Hmm.
we in that experience for you, there's an opportunity to say like, what can I receive from this? How much more can I allow these gifts? And it's funny, I love the theme that everybody is on the Zoom today. How beautiful to have such a commonality of questions and experiences, because as I mentioned, we are here to experience our gifts, right? We're
Hmm.
here to share them. They're here to serve us. So when we push them away, we're pushing away a part of ourselves.
That's true.
So, like, again, back to the self love conversation, I don't think you guys were on yet, but our self love journey is journey back to wholeness and accepting and re embracing all that we are, our light side, our shadow side, our gifts, our inner child, like, our past, everything that we have been. If we're not in acceptance of it, there's healing needed, because then we've created a divide. We say, well, I
Right.
don't like this part of me. I'm going to reject it. And it's kind of a betrayal of true whole self. And I'm going to push that away. And then we create these separations within ourselves. So, really, like, our job is to be in a state of our truest self, right? That is love. And everything that's not that, we want to look at what's the energy underneath it? What's the resistance? What's the fear? What's the rejection, right?
Hmm.
So what we can do, so I think you get all that, right? You receive all
Hmm.
that.
Right.
So, and again, this can be for everybody. Let's see if we can kind of energetically open up a space, and this might require you doing some deeper work, but let's see if we can kind of, grease the wheels for you here. And brother can probably help. Whereas you're willing to, and you can say this like in meditation, like, I am willing to find and connect the parts within me that I rejected and separated from. And however that shows up to you visually, a physical feeling in the body, you know what, let's go ahead and do that now. Let's not just talk about it, let's do it. So go ahead and close your eyes, and everybody can follow along who's listening. And anytime we do any of this kind of work, it's really helpful to take some nice breaths and get grounded in the body. Tell me your name again.
Maya.
Maya. Okay, thank you. Sometimes just our willingness to sit with ourselves is actually gets us there. So just feeling your body kind of sitting into the space of you, settling into the energy of you. And then we can ask our bodies, the divine, pure, true intelligence of your body, like, show me where I am rejecting myself. Show me where I'm holding the energy of resistance to me. And just kind of as that question is expressed, just open up all senses to receive however your body responds, physically, visually, knowing. So, do you notice anything, Maya?
Um, I noticed that there's like black waves all around me. It was like a vision of it, and then it opening up like that into something, um, a lighter space,
Good.
if
So,
that makes sense.
mm-hmm. And however you receive it is perfect. This is, and this is for everybody. Like whatever you get is perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. So I am willing to connect with the parts of me I am in resistance of, and now I am willing to view them, feel them, and just send love, send compassion, acceptance to all parts of this. So, like, if you see the dark and it looks maybe, if you have a judgment around it, send love to that. I'm willing to love and accept these parts of me. And I'm going to bring in some light language while you do that. Etolia to numarashi kiribo shokorosa kato oreshan narese ketodori etanamora shokorosukorsakia. Etanye ashayete shotan mokuroshi amoresheto sunu masuta da baraso to kiorishiki uturuso tunya satadea shakiana ukuna masata moto sakushurishikiwa. And for you as well, this is the willingness to accept your power of creation. Etororia kadamoshata sokotana masatia. Toto kurosha kamarashikia soku. Atana marashakia namakia. Kotono makosokua. And releasing the past experiences where that didn't go so well for you. So everything you're carrying from the past where being your powerful, magical self didn't work out so well. We ask to release these densities, these trauma experiences, pain and suffering from the deepest level of your body and being. And for all who are listening, how we doing? How's that feeling for you so far? You guys hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, how is that? How's that going? How's that?
How was that?
It's good. Cleared a lot, I could tell. I feel opened up. Like I was kind of like sectioned off when you went like this. That's how I felt. And I feel like I'm not sectioned anymore, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
This was an interesting feeling.
So here's your work moving forward is to do what we just did. And so asking to see any other parts of you in separation, resistance, rejection. Okay. Like, so I think there's a couple elements. I think you got some child aspects that are here as well. And then you've got some, other shadow things. And don't worry about who, what, where, why, when. Just for you, because you're so in tune. If you just ask to connect with the energy, you'll connect with it however you need to. And then just be in that space of willing to receive it, willing to give it your attention, willing to, commune or talk or nurture or love, like whatever you could ask the energy of that separate aspect of you, what do you need from me?
Mhm.
And so to really simplify it, it's like all these layers of separation. We have these parts of ourselves that we've left over here, we've stuffed down, we've blocked, we've ignored, and we're going to find them and we're going to bring them back into wholeness. Sometimes that takes a little coaxing,
Mhm.
right? Sometimes there's, they don't want to talk to us, or sometimes we're scared of them. But it's
Mhm.
like at the end of the day, you're just thinking about this conceptually, we're wanting to return to the wholeness and the trueness of that we are. And so it's the willingness to actually sit with ourselves, like we were talking with Agnes. It's doing the work and being willing to ask the questions of our higher consciousness and of our body to say, okay, show me what parts of me aren't in the wholeness or aren't being
Right.
received and accepted.
Would
And
that
I,
be the best to practice this during meditation?
yeah, yeah. And it can just be a daily 10-15 minute. I mean, obviously sometimes we'll get to parts that might need a little more attention,
Mhm.
but I find that like what I've been doing for myself lately is, in addition to just quiet meditation, I am doing self energy, this kind of work on myself every day or as often as I can,
Mhm.
because it's coming up so much.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think you have the full capacity to do this work. It's just, like we talked about, the daily
Right.
getting out of the default of,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
don't want to look at you.
Yeah, that's so true.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you, Maya.
Thank you.
It's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Michael, I got time for one more if you want one.
Okay, let's do it. Okay.
Okay.
So as you know, I'm in my change work marathon right now based on what we worked on last week, right? For me. Um,
Oh yeah, thank
through
you. Yeah, I
this,
don't remember. I, I do remember what you told me, but
yeah,
you know.
yeah. But currently I'm in this I've been having this for a few months lately where I've had a lot of job opportunities and people reaching out to me and saying, hey, we really want you to be in this job, what have you. And I've just been getting flooded on my LinkedIn page and all that, right? And actually, a week or two, like about 3 weeks ago, I said, you know what, let's go through and try it, right? Someone who really wants me, what have you. And I went through the whole interview process. At the very last minute, they're like, oh no, you didn't fulfill whatever criteria. I was like, okay. And this may be related, what have you. And I'm asking the universe, okay, I'm like, why did this happen? What's going on? Is there something I need to balance or what have you? Also during my change work, and why I'm bringing this up too, is I've lost my kind of hearing in my left ear. Um, feels like swimmer's ear almost. I tried for the swimmer's ear, tried for the earwax remover and so on. I think it's an energetic thing, maybe an allergy related, what have you physically, but I know something is there, energetically, or else it wouldn't be coming up. So I wanted to know if you could do an energy read on that,
Okay.
see what's there for me.
Okay. Let's see. All right. First off, your energy feels really up here.
Okay.
So let's ground, which also tend to like uh, perpetuate us in our head. So let me before we you ground while I talk.
Okay.
So it's kind of like that situation you just shared where, oh, all these people want me, let me just see what happens. But was it really true for you to respond? Or were you,
Right.
so and of course our left ear has to do with our inner listening to ourselves, right?
Right. And it's like,
Right.
well, maybe the universe wants me because they're reaching out and so on. I was like, because I don't have the hearing to hear it. So
Right. So you see how you just went to logic? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So logic is not our is not the intuition.
Right.
Because you so back to I don't know. Trisha or Agnes's question, like when we're in any kind of like justification, logic, analysis, we're not in intuition, right? So
Right.
it's just the awareness for you to say, oh, I was creating, I was creating this justification. Let me do it. It didn't work out. What that experience was, and no judgment, no, like, perfect experience for you to go through that process and then reflect back to say, oh, well, I wonder, like, what did I receive from that, right? So no matter what choices we make on our life, like, there's no wrong path. It's just our willingness to receive. So let me flip that back to you. What do you think you received from that situation?
Well, it's kind of like I thought I was all lined up and everything because I thought the symbols were there visually, right? And logic behind it. Okay, this makes sense. The universe is bringing me this opportunity and so on. So where am I out of balance with regards to the universe? Because the universe obviously was like, heck no with that one.
Yeah, and so was
And
there any part of you that was, didn't feel quite right?
usually it's a feeling thing for me. So usually I get excited about
Right.
things, and I haven't really gotten excited lately about anything. So it's
There you go. Right. So and I know, because you and I know each other, like,
yeah,
in what we were talking with Maya, like, we really gotta trust our internal guidance systems. And
right,
we're at this point now where we're fine tuning it more so than ever before. I don't know if yeah, you were on last week where uh, I got two by four twice by the universe because I wasn't hearing the subtle nuances. I was ignoring them, right?
right,
So in similar to your situation, I really feel like the opportunity for us is to go into so much fine tuning, greater discernment where we're trusting. Here's our theme again,
okay,
really trusting ourselves, really checking in, and maybe not, like, again, maybe not getting the answer right away, but having this curiosity, like, is this in alignment for me? Does this help me? Does this really feel expansive and free and light? Or am I justifying and creating the logical reasoning for me to make that because, oh, well, the universe brought it into my reality, but maybe the universe was bringing to reality to see, like, oh, here's an opportunity for you to trust something because it might look really pretty in the package, right? Oh, look at this job, perfect location, the salary is more than I make, blah, 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 right? We have all these things that we can write the pro and con on the paper and, like, oh my gosh, like, look at all these pros. But then when
yeah,
you go into it, it's like, oh, it doesn't really light me up. Like, it sounds
yeah,
good, it looks good, it even feels good, but, like, like, when
yeah,
you're a hardcore big yes, you know, right? So really fine tuning, and again, back to the trust. And so, like, tuning into you, and similar to your sister, is like, where we've forsaken our knowing for the parts of ourselves that are, more entrenched into this reality's way of deciding.
right,
Does that make sense?
yeah,
Like, it's like we have these parts of ourselves that really, we got really good at playing the game of life. We got the corporate job. I mean, right? Like, I got all the
yeah, yeah,
things, I did the college, I did blah, 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 and we got really good at playing the game. And so now we're having to unlearn how to play, and we're really having to, it's uncomfortable because there's way less certainty, right? Because our intuition is, again, more subtle, it's quieter, right? So, similar to your sister, of course, because y'all are sitting there together, let's just tune into your body, Michael, and let's make sure you, yeah, do you feel more grounded? You feel more grounded to me. Okay. So let me ask you this. Where in your body do you feel right now? If you were just kind of scanning your body head to toe, like, what pops in for you?
It's obviously my ear because it feels like, swimmer's ear, right? But
You're talking. Okay.
a lot of throat and heart,
Yeah.
like this right here. This it's like a nice heat sensation right here. Obviously my ear because it feels like, swimmer's ear, right? But
Sorry, I was the thing turned on over here. So okay.
oh, that's good.
So I know I had to shut it down. I'm gonna have to work out the technical stuff here. So what I want you to do is tune into the places that you're feeling it the most. And be willing to, like, I am willing to trust my inner knowing beyond this reality. And I'm willing to listen to what's true for me, even if it's totally against the grain. So we're going to just see if we can clear some energy of heart and ear and back of the heart. Etola ketana marasa kototo yasha kurukura barasha kevaroso kotokia. Etara barasha konomokoro shukura barasa kadama karikia. Etoro barasha kano korosa kototo barasa kama iya kuruki satara barasha konomaki. Etana marasha kurukusa nana marasa tada barasha kia mokrokoa. Etara barasha kedaboroso kukia. Etala barasha kenomoroso toda bareki korokuna arasakashi. I'm feeling your left ear. It's almost like this blockage came as like a safety mechanism.
Yeah.
I'm going to need your help with this. So I want you to just go into your ear and just see if you can kind of, and sister can help too. Maya, you can help too. Like if you were to see, perceive, feel, like just kind of closing down your eyes and feeling your inner ear, what do you notice there?
I get the word vacancy.
Okay.
Like something else is supposed to be there, whatever, to help it out, harmonize it.
Okay. What does that look like, feel like? What would you like to occupy it with?
It just feels, yeah, it's like an empty office kind of thing, and it's waiting for something to come in, like an energy or what have you, to
Okay.
be received in. It's like almost a joy of some sort, or
Okay. Well, let's just
a
ask to bring in
passion.
the energy of whatever that is. And then if you get more awareness of that later, but let's just ask to bring whatever your ear needs right now. Kitoliasha korosa koremerasha kirbaraso koro koro kitariasha nemerasha ki koro kunama aro soto do barasa koro koro kuda ayasha kukuya. I feel like you listening to high frequency music, like classical music or
Yeah.
encoded solfeggio frequencies, something that's going to feed and harmonize. Ito la barashe ke toro korsa te barasha mer esho corazon ria sotoro kukoro ana akuro sukia. It's like a reharmonization, recalibration of your ears, and really what it ultimately feels like is like they're just being upgraded right now. So the adjustment is happening. So there's a receiving, like you said, in the vacancy, but there's also a clearing out of the old simultaneously. So like this is just in process right now. And so it's like what you want to do is feed your ears with the highest frequency music, sounds, nature, your own singing. You sing like
Yeah.
so, bringing through the sounds that feed and nourish your ears to
Yeah.
assist in the process of the upgrade that's happening. This, and along with trusting self, because there's the heart, that's going to up level that intuitive listening and trusting of self.
And is there any engagement as far as like progress levels or what have you with that, or anything you can
say that one more time?
Any progress levels or like percentage of completion or anything with that process right now?
No, I'm not giving.
Okay.
You're already halfway through the marathon. I gave you that last. No, I'll tune in.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm laughing because that's your mind wanting to know, wanting to have answers.
Yes.
Opposite of the intuition. Think about intuition as like this open cup of receiving, and the mind wants to solidify, right? So this is your shifting.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
We talked about our keys to this is having the awareness. This is with Agnes, having the awareness of when our mind wants to control. So like when the mind wants to define, solidify, get all that accuracy, because what is that? Security, safety, right? Oh, if I have the answers, I feel safer, I feel secure.
Yeah.
Whereas when we're here, we're open and we're like, which way? What's happening? And we don't always have that knowing. We just, again, it's subtle and we're being led. So this is part of your upgrade that's happening. So your homework is to pay super vigilant attention of when you're in trying to define when, what, how, where.
Okay.
And then when you notice that, no judgment. Okay, this is my beautiful mind wanting to keep me safe and to have the knowing, and I'm going to get curious. So instead of needing to know, maybe you can create a statement, I'm so curious about this, and I'm excited to I'm excited to experience how this will unfold.
I'm an allowance of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can detach from the outcome.
Okay.
This is part of your upgrade. You're still running a marathon.
I'm all about that.
We all are.
So. I know.
Thank you, Agnes. She said, thanks for sharing the gifts. And for those of you on Facebook and YouTube, thank you for listening. Obviously, the people on the Zoom are going to get priority. If you would like to join via Zoom to have the one-on-one, join my email list. You can go to jencunnings.com to come on the Zoom. And then, of course, if I have time to move over to the Facebook or YouTube platforms, I will. But the Zoom participants will always be chosen first. So if you'd like to join me on Zoom, you can. And you don't have to come on camera. You can just put your question in the chat. If you don't want to be on the screen, that is fine. And again, if I do have time to go over to the platforms, but we're way past time today. But you can join me every week. Again, it's Energy Alchemy with Jen, 12 p.m. Central Time. And, I will still be fine tuning, as we all are, the technicalities of this. I'm actually got some earphones and mic and things, and we'll be switching things up. But I'm in Band-Aid situation right now because I lost my platform. So thank you all for your patience. If I see any comments on YouTube, I will respond to them. And I appreciate y'all for joining me. And happy April 1st. Happy new astrological new year. And if you guys are in the Dallas area and want to come on Sunday, 11 to 1 Yoga Chiquitza. If you guys want to embark on a really deep 7-week journey with me, my self-love alchemy starts on Monday. And I would love to have y'all. So thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. Have a beautiful weekend. Love y'all. Bye.